Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I've got another movie review to do for you all. This is a drama from Australia, English language, released in the year 2007, directed by Matthew Saville, and this film is called Noise. And the story to Noise is as follows. Graham McGann is a cop, almost by default. He thinks self-centered, beset with doubt, and afflicted with tinnitus. A few days before Christmas, he is sent by his boss to man a police van in a suburban shopping strip after violent murders rock the local community. McGann starts to engage with traumatized members of the local community as they deal with the afterburn of these terrible crimes. He learns to come to grips with his role as a cop and a man, but terror has a way of finding the most vulnerable amongst us. Noise deals with the response of an ordinary young man to the challenge posed when a community is affected by tragic events, and shows we are at our best when the worst occurs. So the movie does centre around a very interesting character. He is a young cop, and he is affected by tinnitus. Now, tinnitus is, I've never really heard of it, but apparently it's when you can hear a noise in your ears, kind of like a ringing noise. So he's kind of self-centered, and he kind of has a view that he is hard done by. So he kind of feels sorry for himself. But his life is about to get even more complicated when the local community that he works in is affected by these murders. Now, on a train, this man goes on a shooting spree and he kills a few people, and the whole community are really shook up by this. So he is responsible for manning this police van just outside a shopping centre, where he is interviewing these traumatised people that were witness to these horrible crimes, and anyone else who feels that they could assist the police with their inquiries. So along the way, he learns a lot about himself, and he also learns a lot about the people in the local community. So that's all I'm going to tell you on the story. A fairly difficult film to really tell you what it's all about, so it's definitely best if you go out there and see this film for yourself. Now, my thoughts on the movie. This one had come with high praise. A lot of Australian films, they do come with high praise. Unfortunately, there are some that do not match the hype, and unfortunately for me, I know this might surprise a few people who've seen it, because, as I said, a lot of people really like the movie, but for me, I thought this was a massive letdown, and I'll tell you the reasons why. Now, to start with, the positives was that the script was fantastic. I thought the characters were really rich in depth, and that the interactions between the cop and these individuals that he was interviewing were just really interesting, and it really had my attention. So as far as the script is concerned, that was really good. The acting was very good as well. It showcases some of Australia's finest talent. So, on that front, it was very good. Some very familiar Australian faces that Australian viewers will recognise, not so much people outside of Australia, but for those of you who are Australian, you will recognise a lot of these local faces who have been in a lot of Australian television shows. So, cinematography, very morbid. It's a very disturbing sort of story, and I felt that the cinematography was done very, very well. Now, my problem with the film is that Australia make too many movies like this, and what I mean by that is it's kind of like it had a feel of a television movie. It didn't feel like a feature film, because it felt like the movie had a certain amount of material for a short movie, and the director has kind of tried to drag it out to make it a feature length, and as a result of that, it came across as boring, and the movie just didn't go anywhere. I felt that although the script was very good, the movie starts where it finishes, basically nowhere, and it had a really interesting story, but at no stage did I feel that that was fully utilised, and they didn't explore the story as well as they could have. I would have much rather this be a straight-out thriller, and it could have been just as good, because the movie needed a little bit more drama. It needed a little bit more of a kick, because now the movie does meander along, and at the end you'll say to yourself, it wasn't a terrible film, but then again it wasn't anything spectacular. And unfortunately, Australia do deliver too many of these movies that are they're playing it safe. They're not really taking many risks. Yes, the actual story in itself is a touchy subject. It deals with the trauma of traumatic events. But unfortunately, I just don't feel like the directors like these who make these movies, I don't feel they really stretch themselves out. And it's really not going to appeal to an audience outside of Australia. And I don't feel that these sort of films are taken advantage of the good script and what was an interesting sort of story. So really disappointing effort. I'm only going to give this 2 out of 5. I thought it had the grounds to be an excellent film, but just a lack of motivation, it felt like. It just prevented it from being anything great. So, you know, the script is very good. The characters, especially the main character, very interesting. But yeah, it just stays on one line and it doesn't move. It doesn't go up to any thrilling heights, and it just stays along on a very flat line. So in the end, it was a very flat film, 2 out of 5. It is definitely not coming recommended. It is a movie that has received a lot of attention as far as Australian cinema is concerned. So if you're curious, I would say give it a rent. But be very careful, because I just felt that, you know, this one is very much overrated. Alright guys, that's it for my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, take care of yourselves, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.